Well, hello there, folks, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. It's lovely to see you again as usual, and I hope that I find you very well indeed. So, tonight for tea, I made this amazing Tuscan chicken. Whenever I feature this on my Sunday meals of the week, I'm always being asked to show a recipe. So, here we are. I'm finally getting round to it. This is absolutely delicious and really easy to make as well. So I'm going to put the ingredients on the screen as I use them, but they will always be in the description box underneath the video. So the first thing we're going to do is get the chicken ready. So I am using 2 chicken breasts. This is for 3 people. You can use more chicken if you've got more mouths to feed. So just want to slice this through the middle, and that's going to magically double the quantity of chicken that you've got. And then in a large frying pan, you want to melt down a wee knob of butter and then add to that a splash of olive oil, and that's going to stop your butter from burning. So that's a good wee tip there. So just melt both of those down, and this is the seasoning that I'm using here. But don't worry if you don't have this exact seasoning. You can use whatever seasoning you prefer. Just make sure it's got a tomato base, because this is going to be a sort of creamy tomato cheesy sauce, and it's just lovely. But that's everything there that's in the sauce should you wish to recreate this seasoning for yourself. So once your butter and your oil is nicely melted, you can pop in your chicken. This doesn't take long to cook because it's quite thin, but do make sure it's fully cooked all the way through. We're going to add the seasoning on top. Be generous with the seasoning because you do want bags of flavour in your chicken. So I'm going to give mine about 4 minutes on each side just because it's so thin, but this will depend obviously on how thick your own chicken is. So make sure it's well cooked on both sides, just like this, and then we're going to lift this out and set it to the side. Another wee bit of seasoning on the other side as well. You can't over season this because that seasoning is just lovely. But once your chicken is fully cooked, like I said, just lift this out, and I'm just going to pop this onto a plate to rest until we make the sauce. Everything just gets made in the same pan, so it's super easy. I'm going to add 1 red onion, which I've finely diced. You can use shallots or brown onions, it's up to you. And I'm also going to add some button mushrooms as well. But again, use whatever mushrooms you have. I had these in the fridge, so that's why I'm using these. You want to give this a good stir together just to make sure it picks up all of those lovely seasonings that are in your pan. You won't need to add any additional liquid or oil because your mushrooms will release a lot of liquid. Let these soften up for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to add in my sun-dried tomatoes. These come in a jar with lots of oil, so again, you won't need to add any additional oil or liquid at this stage. Give those a good mix together just to warm through the sun-dried tomatoes, and it's looking something like this. Absolutely beautiful, and the smell of this was absolutely crazy. I'm going to add in my chicken stock now. I am using a Knorr stock pot, but use whatever chicken stock works for you. So just straight into the pan with this, and then you want to give this a good stir together as well. Now it's quite liquidy at this point, so I'm going to let this reduce slightly for a few minutes, just simmering away in the pan, and that will intensify the flavour and help to thicken up your sauce at the end as well. So once it's had an extra few minutes, I'm going to add in my double cream or heavy cream straight into your sauce, and then also some parmesan cheese as well. Now you want to reduce the heat in your pan to a very low heat at this point because you don't want your sauce to split or curdle. So reduce your heat right down, and you want to stir this through. Just give it a nice gentle stir just to make sure everything is nicely combined. So I'm going to add in a small handful of fresh chopped parsley. If you don't like parsley, you can add spinach. We are not the biggest lovers of spinach, but you can add a couple of handfuls of spinach to this if you prefer. But I like the vibrancy of the parsley. It just gives a much needed pop of colour as well. So just make sure that's well stirred in, and then you can pop your chicken back into your sauce. You just want to let this simmer away for about 5 minutes, and your sauce will get thicker and thicker. The longer you let this sit and simmer, the thicker your sauce is going to be. But I gave this one about 5 minutes and I found that to be absolutely perfect. You can have this over rice, you can stir this into pasta. Make sure you chop the chicken up if you're going to stir this through pasta, or you can have it with mashed potato, which is what we done. We love this with mashed potato. It just goes so well with the creamy mash. So that's the mashed potato there. I also made some steamed carrots as well, just for a wee texture change. That's that Tuscan chicken and some of the sauce as well. Sometimes I'll add some more of the sun-dried tomatoes just dotted around the plate, but I didn't do this time, or even another wee smattering of the parsley on top. But I just left this as it was, and it was, let me tell you, it's absolutely delicious, and I do hope you give this one a go. And like I said in the beginning, don't worry if you don't have the seasoning. There are plenty of other similar seasonings out there, or you can make your own. Just make sure you're using that tomato base, and it's going to give you the same kind of flavour. And a big thank you as usual for you all for watching, for your support over on Patreon, and to the channel members here as well, for you all for leaving your lovely comments, and for those that share the videos as well. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you, and I will catch up with you during the week for another wee recipe, back on Saturday for our food shopping and bagging, or back on Sunday for our family meals of the week. So you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you off soon back here on What's for Tea. Bye now.